Okay, so we have an urgent information coming out. Do me a favor and share this video. Once again, thank you so much for your support. Hamas, which has dominated the strip since 2007, but has been militarily battered by the Holy Land in the biblical war, said it will not relinquish armed resistance unless an independent, fully Soviet Palestine state with Jerusalem as its as its capital. Wow. Oh man, this is a big breaking news here. So Hamas is like, look, we will leave. We will be gone forever. You won't hear from us anymore. The day that Palestine become a state, meaning two-state solution, and Jerusalem being the capital. Wow. That is a big, big, big news there, guys. At the same time, September, keep your eyes on September. You got more than 140 countries coming together, and they want to recognize Palestine as a state. At the same time, there will be a blood moon September. Alright guys, before I start, for those of you that want to send us letters or prayer requests, you can send it to me, US Santiago, or my wife Jessica Santiago at 3432 US Highway 19, number 2, Holiday, Florida 34691. And for those of you that want to help and support the channel, we do have the Cash App link and the PayPal link in the comments box and also description box. Thank you so much for your support. Alright, so, wow. This is a big breaking news here, guys. Shocking one, too. So Hamas is like, look, we are willing to give everything up. But in return, we want an independent, fully Soviet for the Palestinian people to become a state with Jerusalem as its capital. You know what Benjamin's saying? No, Donald, no. So, indirect negotiation between Hamas and the Holy Land aimed at securing a 60-day cease plan in the Strip biblical war and deal for the release of half of the innocents ended last week in deadlock. I seen a video. One of the hostages. I mean, you wouldn't believe that was just the famine. I mean, there was this one dude, and he's one of them back in October 2023. So you had Hamas put out a video saying we have one of your people here, and man, you can see like the bones and everything. It's just very sad. I mean, that's famine right there. On Saturday, this group released its released its second video in 2 days of the Holy Land hostage. In it, you have this person here, David, and very, very, very thin. Very thin. Is shown digging a hole, which he says in a video is for his own. Oh my. He's digging his own grave. Wow. I thought they had those people like doing like tunnels and stuff. You know how they do tunnels, those bad groups, they got hidden tunnels and stuff, and I thought they were using those hostages to build do tunnels and stuff. So they are an absolute brick of the very end. And David's brother at a rally in support of the innocent in Tel Aviv, where thousands gathered holding posters of those in that region and chanted for their immediate release. The problem here, ladies and gentlemen, is Ben. Yes, Ben. Look, there's a way to bringing all of them back. But you got Ben, again, he's not agreeing. He doesn't want to negotiate with certain individuals out there. So in the current unimaginable condition, they may have only days left. Days left. The Holy Land Minister of Foreign Affairs said that the world cannot remain silent. In the face of the difficult images that are the result of deliberate, of the, you know what, which also includes famine. It's very sad. It's just very sad. So again, they just told Ben and Donald, we are willing to set these individuals free, send them home. We are willing to give up our power in exchange for the Palestine. Again, I'm using code word Palestinian. You know what? For them to become a state, and their capital being Jerusalem. Now, give me a second here, guys. Give me 1 second. All right, so we're gonna continue with this story here. I had to click on. Give me a second. So okay, it says here. So the Gov of the UK and Canada has since announced their plans to recognize a palace state, a response to the obliteration of the Strip through the Holy Land ongoing military offensive and blockade. Man, there's a picture here of famines. I mean, the move was met with outrage from Ben, who labeled the plans a reward for Hamas. The biblical war began on October 7, 2023, when these groups led some groups stormed into southern Holy Land, taking 1,200 and 251 innocent into the Strip. The strike was met with a subsequent military onslaught on the Strip, which taken over 60,000 Palestinians, triggered a humanitarian catastrophe and turned much of the country into a rubble-laden wasteland. They're facing famine, which is now leading towards pestilence. The last round of ceasefire talks saw both Holy Land and Hamas blaming one another, ending in an impasse that offered no clarity on the extent of a Holy Land military withdrawal. Wow. So once again, here's another one. Oh, you got two of them. It seems like this is from the Telegraph. The news Telegraph. They putting out this information. So Hamas has said it will refuse to disarm unless an independent Palestine state is established with Jerusalem as its capital. The Palestine group, the bad group, said in a statement on Saturday that its armed resistance cannot be relinquished except through the full restoration of our national rights. Foremost among them, the establishment of an independent, fully Soviet Palestine state with Jerusalem as its capital. It comes after UK, France, and Canada all vowed to recognize the Palestine at the UN General Assembly in September. This kind of reminds me of the movie Left Behind. You have Kirk Cameron plays the movie. It's from the early 90s. Then you have Nikolai. They talk about... man, I forgot how the movie goes. But you have two very important men from the UN. And then you have Nikolai. And then something about... something about we should starve them. And then many will come to us and say we want peace because the young ones are passing away from famine. And that's what's going on here. That's basically what's going on here. So we definitely seen something here. And yeah, I'm going to have to watch that movie again, Left Behind. But now you got the UN getting involved. Just like the movie Left Behind, the UN also got involved. All right, so you have Starmer, that's the UK Prime Minister, said the step will be taken next month unless Holy Land met a series of conditions, including ending the appalling situation in the Strip. The Prime Minister was criticized for failing to impose any condition on Hamas, including that the remaining of the 50 to be released. There's a picture here. You got young ones holding plates, and that's something that I don't support. I don't support none of these biblical war. Now Donald, he goes after Vladimir and say, Vladimir, you are being really mean. You're a madman. You're striking Crane. That's not right. But he won't say anything towards Ben. You got all these young ones holding plates. I mean, Donald, do you have, a heart? I mean, do you feel bad for these young ones? Tell Ben to knock it off. Hamas statement also came after Arab states called on the T group to disband and disarm amid a global push for a Palestinian state and for an end to the biblical war in the Strip. In the context of ending the biblical war in the Strip, Hamas must end its rule in the Strip and hand over its equipment to the Palestinian Authority with international engagement and support in line with the objective of a sovereign and independent state, said the declaration by the... I'm going to skip that name there. But one thing I tell you, something big is coming this September. There's a blood moon. And at the same time, you have multiple countries are going to start recognizing Palestine as a state. It was also signed by all 27 European Union states and 17 other countries, including Britain. While Hamas has previously called for a Palestinian state, it envisages, I'm going to skip that name, across modern-day Holy Land, which it does not recognize. In direct negotiation between Hamas and the Holy Land aimed at securing a 60-day cease plan in the Strip war and a deal for the release of the innocents ended in deadlock last week. Starmer insisted this week that he was listening to the hostages' loved ones, but said he still intends to recognize a Palestinian state unless Holy Land commits to a ceasefire and a two-state solution. Now it says here, he told the ITV that while the innocent should be released, the UK needed to do everything we can to alleviate the humanitarian catastrophe in the Strip, where we are seeing the young ones, famine for what of aid which could be delivered. Now, the sleeping giant, the US, and the Holy Land are saying we are airdropping those stuff. Here's the thing. That's not going to help. It's not going to help. You know how many are snatching those stuff? You think an elderly is going to run and grab those things? You got 90 years old in bed. They can't grab those airdrop supplies. That is why I've said unless things materially change on the ground, we have to assist this in September. There you go. The month of the blood moon. We will recognize Palestine before the UN General Assembly. There you go. The UK announcement prompted anger from Emily Damari, the British Holy Land innocent who was held captive by Hamas for hundreds of days. She accused the Prime Minister of not standing on the right side of history, and that she was deeply saddened by his announcement. Meanwhile, on Saturday, you have facility hospital in the Strip reported I'm going to skip that name, the takeout of more than a dozen, including 8 seeking food. Yahia, who sought aid at a Strip humanitarian foundation site, said he saw many lying on the ground. Oh, man. It's the same daily episode. See, that's the problem. If you drop all those things, you're going to have all these people just going nuts. It just... And then Donald goes after Vladimir. For what? I mean, what's going on in the Strip is a lot worse, Donald. I mean, you don't see Vladimir, starving many out there in Ukraine. He's not doing that type of stuff. He's not leading that land to famine. People still, every Friday they go to the club and people still living their life out there in Ukraine. But this is where we at right now, guys. So I would keep you updated when it comes to nation against nation and kingdom against kingdom. So Hamas is willing to give up power in exchange for Palestine to become a state and their capital being Jerusalem. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. For those of you that want to send us letters or prayer requests, you can send it to me, US Santiago, or my wife Jessica Santiago at 3432 US Highway 19, number 2, Holiday, Florida 34691. Thank you so much for watching. Till next time later. Peace.